Good evening, everybody. This is Pradeep Mal, Ambassador of Change from GETI, Lucknow, and we are on this disruptive education platform provided to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. We've had more than 350 speakers, eminent speakers from all over India as well as abroad, and we also have all-round solutions to education, which include books and training of teachers as well as assessments. And today, we are very happy, and I'm very happy and privileged to have with us Dr. Kavisha Khurana. She's an educator and a parent. She ensures in her role as mentor of education, she ensures that every child is treated like an individual and that academics, physical and emotional well-being of a child are all addressed properly. In 2019, she started a school called the Chintels School, which is an offshoot of a very famous school in Kanpur. But of course, in her own right, she's a great mentor of that school. The school is beautiful as far as architecture is concerned and has already won great renown around Kanpur as being a different school and being more friendly to students. So she's done her master's in English as well as in journalism as well as mass communications and has a doctorate in the role of English in education. She won the 40 Under 40 Leadership Award from Asia One magazine in the field of education, and the likes of Priyanka Chopra and Virat Kohli were privileged to share the stage with her. And over and above that, I'm extremely proud that she has been a student of mine in Bendy High School in Kanpur, and she was the head girl in her year, and it is a great privilege to host her. So over to you, Kavisha.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a modest introduction. And especially when you said that people like Virat Kohli and Priyanka Chopra were privileged, I don't know what to say about it. Okay, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a good day and staying safe. Before proceeding with the topic, as Sir did not miss, so let me also not miss this opportunity to thank Mal Sir. Mal Sir, just the name makes me nostalgic, as he just said, because this learned gentleman I'm sharing the screen with happens to be my principal when I was in school. Whatever I am today, Mal Sir, undeniably, you were, you are, and you will always be an important part of my journey. I have been part of many forums, both offline and online, and they were all really good experience, and I learned also a lot from them. But this one undoubtedly will be the closest to my heart. Thank you, sir, for being an amazing principal and teaching life's very, very important lessons. There's a saying which says, you cannot adjust the direction of the wind, but you can always adjust the sails. And teachers all over the country adjusted their sails really well during this pandemic. Here, I would like to thank GETI for its approach of disrupting education, giving a clear message that education must go on, come what may. So, dear viewers, a lot have been talked and said about the lockdown period. And now, after nearly 6 months, people have also started calling it the new normal, though I sincerely wish that I go back to the old abnormal. But jokes apart, today I'll be starting with telling you something about a snowball effect. What is a snowball effect? You might have heard this term. in share markets and everybody. But right now, let me tell you what is the snowball effect. This is a small ball. Just imagine a small ball you've made of snow, right? Then you roll this small ball down the hill. And as the snowball is rolling down the hill, it gathers more and more snow, making it bigger and bigger. Now, this is exactly what happens to our mind. A mind of the teachers, the minds of the parents, the minds of the children. It's like we have a problem, right? And instead of fixing that problem and turning it into action, we make our problem bigger and bigger and bigger by adding more illusions, more judgments, self-labeling, and adding more stories to it. So this little problem, though maybe intense, become massive illusions in our minds. And we are spiraled down deeper and deeper into fear and anxiety, isn't it? And you know, the human mind is such that it can create or destroy your peace absolutely. It's like fire. You add more fuel to it, it will get bigger and bigger, just like the snowball. To make this more clear, let me give you some example from my own life. So one day I was taking a session with senior children, grades 11th and 12th. I just asked them to think and tell me how are they feeling right now or how they felt in just past 24 hours. I gave them a choice not to disclose anything right then and there, but they can message me privately or email me or send me a message on a chat box. The good part was that the online classes were their only respite. Thank goodness for that. But they had so many things going on in their minds. Let me just read two messages which I received, quote and unquote, exactly like what they sent me. First child who said, "Ma'am, honestly, I do not want to study any further. With so much going around, people are losing their jobs, businesses are failing. What is the point of working so hard?" Said an ABC child of grade 11. Another child. "Ma'am, thank you for the session. But I feel that at this moment, we are living in a watershed moment in history. The disarray and destruction are the birthing pangs of new era. We hear the footfalls of the departing gods fading behind us, even though we don't see the footprints of the incoming gods in front of us," said an XYZ child of grade 11. So here you see how the teenagers have spiraled into negativity. It all started with uncertainty of COVID-19. It is a difficult phase for everybody. But then, what is making the snowball bigger? News channels are running into their houses 24/7, where there's only sensational news and 99% of it is negative, right? They see social media, how people are suffering, how their neighbor is struggling for a job, and so on and so forth. So as I said, the snowball, which started as an uncertainty, has rolled down, collecting with it irritability, anxiety, sleeplessness, hopelessness, and even lack of faith. You see how bigger it has got? And here, it is where our role as parents, educators, caretakers step in. One thing also I would like to point out here, that we as parents or educators have fed our children with golden spoons, nestling them in rosy beds, showing how life would be perfect if they study or clear a certain examination, etc., etc. Haven't we? So they imagine that life can be perfect. And they believe that perfect life exists. If not by us, they see on the social media that so and so looks good and gets better grade. And what about me? What about me? I don't get good grades. So the child starts to picture that the other's life is perfect, while the child himself has self-labeled himself and turning and getting negative thoughts. And sometimes we also, as parents and educators, compare the children, even the siblings. That's quite obvious. But now we need to be little more wise on what we are telling our children. We need to teach our children that life is and will never be perfect. If they see somebody's life as perfection, they need to change their vision because they do not know what lays beneath the golden casket, right? One more thing. Let's think, how many times have we told our children it is absolutely okay to fail? We always talk about the alma maters. How many times have we told in the class that we grown ups, as students, and even today make mistakes? We also might have failed somewhere, sometime, though not academically, but we have also failed. Have we ever acknowledged it before our children? Very rarely, I believe. And why do we want our children always to be perfect? Perfect in academics, perfect in sports, perfect in co-curricular activities like debates, music, everything. We just want them to be perfect all the time. Why? Why do not we let our children be? Why are we adding more snow to this snowball which is already existing in their minds? We always inspire them to be like falcons and fly high. It's good, inspire them to fly high like falcons or eagles who fly above the cloud when the things are bad. But why not inspire them and tell them to be phoenix as well, but they can just rise from their ashes too, isn't it? Uh, Educators, parents, we need to remember that just mugging up few books or just the term education will not gonna stop the snowball droning. Neither will it prepare them for life. It's okay to teach a chapter less if it's not board examination, certainly. We need to go beyond education. How can we do that? Like we see that GETI is calling the good talent, good speakers from all across the country. Why don't you try it and calling them for their own school? Have a class with them. Call some real life heroes who failed, who struggled, and yet made it big, right? And there are so many storytellers, if you find, they take a minimum amount and do come, who cater to all age group. If nothing, organize an intra-school MUA amongst our own children. Give them opportunity to go beyond books, subject books, go beyond the subject books, isn't it? In fact, whenever free, organize say a virtual DJ party. We had it in our school, the Chintels school, and it worked really well. And children of all age group, right from the kindergarten, pre-primary, from the 3-year-old to the 18-year-old girl, or 18-year-old children and the teachers, all enjoyed it. They sent us the video. Try to fix a virtual birthday party for all the children whose birthday fall in a particular month. Let them dress up. Let them have a party. Make mindfulness very, very essential, especially at this time. Have regular yoga sessions to calm their mind. We have for our children just a minute before the class, breathe in, breathe out, just an activity to just calm their senses. They need calmness too right now. And you see, when you talk to them, discuss about their minds, listen to their problems, you'll see that the snowball effect is stopped. It has stopped. And this is what we have to do. Try it, what our judge said. Education plays a very pivotal role, but mindfulness can just do wonders for preparing them for life and be ready for any adverse situation. Now coming to the younger lot for edutainment. Lot have been said and heard in various webinars, right? I would just add to it by saying, to not keep very long working hours, studying hours for the pre-primary. They can't concentrate. They do not have so much of concentration power, right? Children are not made or mechanized to sit at a place and listen to you for 2 hours or 3 hours. No, it's not possible. If you're keeping a session for, say, half an hour or 40 minutes, divide it into more of a play and less of teaching. And top it up with some short stories and end it with a bang like dance or something. If you YouTube, there are a lot of amazing games available which can be played with children virtually, where they can just run and learn, rather jump also. Let me give you an example. At a little distance, you can ask the parents to play some flashcards, say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And then the teacher would instruct, okay, Rahul, jump from D to E. Look at the way the child will jump. And now from E to F, you need to hop. Okay. Now from F, you go crawling back to B. So, the child now has understood what is A, B, C by just playing around it. Make play fun. Learning should be fun, and learning should make children happy. And happiness, I believe, ensures learning, isn't it? Try this game out. It was played in my son's school, the Chintels school only, and he thoroughly enjoys it. He has games every day, so that he enjoys it. So I've already told you what is a snowball effect and how and what can we do to stop the snowball effect. Not only stopping the snowball effect is very essential in children, but also in your own mind, right? If you're mindful, if you know the right tactics, only then can you teach your children, whether you are a parent or an educator. And right now, many of us are playing both the roles. So you need to have confidence in yourself, first of all. Okay, enough of the snowball effect and all. Now I'll come to a very important topic in discovering and connecting through education and beyond, is the screen time. And many parents have these questions today, and especially during this time, that how much screen time is a good screen time for my children? And how can we deprive the child of technology when the future, rather the present, is virtual? In fact, recently I heard Mr. Spooky Willer in one of the conferences. He quoted that in the year 2048, which is just like 18 years from now, you will be able to buy a computer which will have the computation of the capacity of the entire human species. So it rings a bell, right? So is it right if we tell the children not to surf on internet too much? But dear parents, what he's watching, that is important. Is he learning something new, or is he just passing time playing various violent games? Today, I as a parent will help you draw a line to discriminate between addiction and a healthy good screen time. So I've made a huge booklet on it. I did a lot of research on it and made a good booklet. So let me just share a few pointers with you. It's a little long, but it will be really, really helpful to you all. So let's begin with the effect of what modern gadgets has on a child's development. I couldn't find the Indian data, but let me just read out to you the US data. 54% of the US teens say that they spend too much time on their mobile phones, and two-thirds of the parents express concern over the child's screen time. And the trend is not something unusual across the kids in other parts of the globe as well. Excessive use of mobiles, television, and online gaming somewhere negatively affects the child's overall development. According to a research, it also shows that with an early excessive exposure, let me mind you, excessive exposure to gadget, tend to experience cognitive delays, attention deficit disorders, learning difficulties, and sometimes also exhibiting violent behaviors. So here, let us understand that what is addiction. So you see, kids are engrossed in mobile game, YouTube video, or TV show. It is a very, very common sight today. And it most definitely isn't something new to see kids learning to use these gadgets with such an ease at a very, very young age. According to a report by Kaiser Family Foundation, children are spending over 7.5 hours staring at the screens. But where does this all begin? While parents are constantly seen complaining about where the child is addicted to television, mobiles, or computer, one cannot discount the fact that it is parents who teach the child to use these devices in the first place. The child could be to keep the child engaged long enough until parents try to finish off their work, whether personal or professional. Children learn parents by aping the behavior. So if you wish your child to be disconnected from gadget, spend quality time with them, with their books, physical activities, and hobbies. It is essential that you demonstrate the same at home. And always remember, appreciate and reward the child when she disconnects from the TV and spends time pursuing his or her activity or hobby. That being said, it is important to understand how much is too much, because we live in the era where a child cannot grow and learn without spending time on the internet. So how much screen time is too much time, right? So according to the 2017 study, and 2020 has a lot more, we all know that. So according to a 2017 study by the University of Michigan, says that parents need to understand whether screen use causes problem in other areas of life or has become an all-consuming activity. It is the strongest predictor of emotional or social problem connected with screen addictions. If you have a paper or pencil, you can write it down also. Right now, I'm going to tell you something very, very important. Let's see the difference between the addiction and good screen time for the child. You know your child is addicted when, number one, he loses absolute interest in other activities, like the activities he previously enjoyed, and prefer his time being glued to the screen, any kind of screen, mobile, television, anything. This could be the first red light for the screen addiction. Then the child has little to no self-control in the screen use. For instance, if you notice your child picking up that tablet or phone or turning your TV just after minutes after you turned it off, or being unsuccessful in refraining from the screen, this is another alarm sign of addiction of the screen. Number three, you gradually start noticing that your child has become aggressive. Aggressive if you take away the screen from the child. Then it is an issue too. You need to deal with it and talk to him. Number fourth addiction we see is that the only motivation for the child to get his work completed, whether it's homework, whether it's household chore or whatever, his only motivation is being rewarded extra screen time. If no, and no other reward works for him apart from the extra screen time, we have a serious problem here. If the child's only motivation is the screen, right? And the last two are that they tend to get sneaky about it. By sneaky, I mean if your a kid is sneaking away your phone everywhere, but is lying about how long they are using it because they know that they might get a scolding from you, then also you need to worry about it. And lastly, if your child has started showing withdrawal symptoms similar to substance addiction, kids with screen addiction also starts to demonstrate withdrawal symptoms. They don't want to talk to anybody, just lock themselves in the room with the screen. And in many countries like US, I'll not be surprised if it opens in India also tomorrow. There are rehabilitation centers are being set up exclusively for the children. So let's nip the bud as early as we can, isn't it? Now, as we know the difference between the good screen time and addiction, let's take the call accordingly. We need to strike the right balance between healthy screen time and addiction. Let me just give you a quick quick tips that how we can ensure that screen time does not turn into an addiction. It is important for parents to understand that the quality of screen time matters a lot. It is more harmful for the child's emotional and social development if she is exposed to harmful content online for a few minutes a day than hours of educational or engaging content. This is a very, very important thing. What he sees is very important. Like this time, there's a lot of hullabaloo. Oh, school have all the online classes. The child is always before the screen. But here, you know that it is for an educational purpose, and right now the schools have no other choice but to keep the education moving. We need the help, the assistance of technology. But what is your child seeing after that? You need to be really vigilant about it. As I said, the quality of what he's watching matters a lot. Okay, so for infants and toddlers, 0 to 3 years, uh, play with them. This is the age of cognitive and sensory development. I know it takes a lot of time. Play show and tell games with them, peekaboos with them. I know it's very, very engaging for 2.5, 3-year-old child, but you don't want to take chances at this stage, right? For the ages of 3 to 6 years, they are busy exploring the new worlds around them and would be excited about everything. Make sure you answer all their questions and also encourage them to find answers to everything that intrigues them. Also, you make sure you involve them in solving puzzles, building castles, and a few physical games because this is the right time to develop fine and gross motor skills. You can even introduce them to the world of books, but make sure that they have a lot of images and colors and activities to keep them engrossed, right? Okay, so next we come to the ages which are 6 to 8, where cognitive and sensory development is at the highest during these years. Reading out bedtime stories, just taking a walk with them inside the house only, talking to them, teaching them through books or flashcards about various birds, animals, sounds, through show and tell games, and many more. While this might seem a little time consuming effort and difficult, remember that you are laying the foundation of their solid life for tomorrow. For 8 to 10 years and basically beyond, this age, they start showing a little of what their hobbies is like, especially around 10 years. What do they want to do? So, in fact, you can also join in the hobby with them. That will be a great time to bond with your child also. Engross them in activities like gardening, skating, art and craft. You can read out to them and again 10 is also small age. Have a lot of books with images and colors, so that this all keeps them engrossed. Right? So I've given you a lot of tips on how you can take the screen time, but yes, you have to give a little more time and do watch the content what your child is watching. But as you say, all said and done, but we cannot stop the technology. Here I would just like to say that let us not make ourselves the slaves of technology. I understand we live in an era where it is impossible to keep your child away from screen. So it is important for us as parents to ensure the child has ample of options to stay engaged other than just the screen. While gadgets certainly comes with benefits such as making your child tech savvy, access to information, easy learning, and also a fair amount of independence. But there are also health risks associated with it. And by showing them too much of technology, and if the child knows you're not making them genius, let me mind you, you're not making them genius, you are just flooding them with a lot of information, because the child has an access to all the answers. So his ability to question and to create also goes down somewhere. So you're not making them genius, you're just flooding them with information. So I hope that has helped you in discriminating the line. So moving further with discovering connections, one more point, this will be my last pointer of the new 2020. You know, we as parents, all the parents, this is the first time we can enter the classroom of a child, isn't it? And for all the teachers, you can enter into the house of the students. So instead of being a critic, even after 6 months of criticizing it, let's make this an opportunity and have a solid collaboration between the school and the parents, because the aim of both the places, the people, is the same: a successful and a happy future of our child, right? And all of us have been on a journey from tell to ask. We as parents ask our children more like what we were asked. Like as soon as the child starts speaking, you ask, "Oh, my baby, what color will you wear today?" And of course, the child's answer back, instead of we forcing them what to wear. It's a good thing. Parents are asking questions to their children, right? In fact, we are also on a journey from no, K-N-O-W, no, to understand. We as parents are not now know-it-all kind of parents. We try to understand the children and also the teenagers, which is a very positive sign. And now we are understanding our children all the way more, isn't it? Likewise, there is a major shift with the teaching pattern as well. What curriculum to follow? We are now thinking on how to follow a curriculum, why to follow a certain curriculum, and we also, good schools, in fact, our school also says that a curriculum is a continuous process which changes with time. But whatever curriculum your teachers frame, the school frame, always keep one thing in mind. Is it making the child future ready? Yet happy today? I have said a lot about technology, and I've also briefed about curriculum. Here, again, I would like to re-emphasize, we need to know that it is very important that technology is something that has to be managed prudently and judicially. This is where the difference comes in. It's like we all know that we get food, energy from food, right? But we can't gobble food all the time through day and night, right? Because if we overdo it, it can have hazardous impact, isn't it? So curriculum with technology should be made to weave in technology as a toolkit. I'm not talking about this time only, I'm talking about further also, because technology is here to stay, it's not going anywhere, right? So we need to make technology as a toolkit or something like technology for teachers, we should take the opportunity to deploy technology according to the pedagogical needs of the child or a teacher, not just making mere PPT or say it looks good or it looks cool. We are a technical school. No, technology, I would like to say, is like say a perfect cup of good tea, which has aroma and comforts you. For that, you need right tea leaves, balanced amount of milk and water, and you know whom are you serving this perfect blend to. Isn't it? Think over it, isn't it? I would now sum up by concluding that discover and connect to your children by not just teaching, but by stopping the snowball effect, catering to their emotional and mental needs as well. Remember, technology is a good servant but a bad master. Don't let it master you. Spend a lot of quality time with your family. Don't make the child always run the race of being an extraordinary. Let the child be himself. Let him enjoy being an ordinary. Don't make them fancy a perfect life. Teach them resilience and bouncing back. There's one dialogue from Sing movie which I love, and I would just like to end with it. If you hit the rock bottom, then there is only one way to go, and that is up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you now, sir.
Thank you, Kavisha. That was very practical.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that was very practical, and I'm sure the viewers are going to get a lot from it because that is exactly the way, somewhat exactly the way I think also. But let's say we have a few questions. I think this one you have already answered. Bindu Gupta asked this question on how to engage the primary classes. So I think you've already answered this question. Would you like to add something to it?
Yes, sir. She might be either a teacher or a parent of a young child. I'm very sure. I've already answered this that, ma'am, if you YouTube Ms. Gupta, you'll find a lot of games as a teacher which you can play with your child virtually. And if your child is small, primary child from the ages say 3 to 5, there you have to give this years of children, you have to give a lot of time to them. Don't make your time being replaced by technology. I've told you to make flashcards, show cards, play it with the child and see how interested he is in learning new and new things. Make him practical. If suppose you have a pen, you can ask this. You don't need to have a gadget for it. Which color pen is it? You don't need to show him on the phone, okay, this is green color. Show this to him and tell this is a green color pen. And it'll add on to the vocabulary and he'll learn colors, of course. Engage in role plays. That's a very good thing for children to do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Ehtisham Afrahin asks how to teach English to 6 to 8 in the pandemic. Another very difficult question.
Sir, your
How to teach English to students of classes of 6 to 8. Okay, I think Kavisha is having some Wi-Fi problems there. So anyway, thank you so much, Kavisha, because I think you've already answered this question. So once again, I wish to thank.
Lot of internet.
Kavisha, you were having some Wi-Fi problems.
Sir, give me a minute. I'll just connect it through the phone now. Am I audible now, sir?
Yes, very much.
Yes, sir. Now you may tell me. I'm connecting. Yes, sir.
So she was asking about how to teach English from classes 6 to 8 students in the pandemic. So
okay, that's
would you like to answer that? Kavisha is having Wi-Fi problems there. So, thanking Dr. Sunita Gandhi once again for having provided us this great platform, and to Dr. Kavisha Khurana of the Chintels School. Thank you so much for having come on to this webinar. It's a privilege to have been with you, and it's great to see our students doing so well and being able to advise others. So they have learned the lessons very well and have added to that. So thank you very much, and good night, all of you.